Hi, I'm Beth Graves, and thank you for joining us on the Circus Arts Spotlight. Each week, we'll shine the spotlight on the people, programs, and events of the Circus Arts Conservatory. In addition to professional and student youth performances, we'll explore incredible outreach programs and learn how the circus arts impact so many aspects of life. For more information on today's topic, or anything circus arts related, please go to our website, circusarts.org. Now, let's get started.
Hi, today we're going to shine the spotlight on Miguel Vargas and Jared Walker, who are both key players in producing Sailor Circus Academy shows. And I have spoken with both of them previously, but we have a little, we're getting ready for a show, and I thought it would be really interesting to speak with them again. So Miguel is the Sailor Circus head coach, and Jared is the Sailor Circus creative director. And together, they have decades of experience in their fields. So the upcoming Sailor Circus show is called Season's Greetings, and we are going to be producing that show December 26th through December 31st. And obviously, very, very different circumstance for producing a show. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to start with Jared. And hi.
Hi, Beth.
And I'm going to ask you how you come up with your ideas for the shows.
Well, this year, accentuating circumstances, put us in. Everybody had a tough year, with the pandemic and everything going on in the world. So we wanted to find a way to create some positivity and looking for some good things coming in the new year. So we were talking about the show in particular and wanted to be a little more traditional in our approach, like a traditional circus with a traditional ringmaster, that sort of thing. And the show is called Season's Greetings, and it's based on holiday cards of things that happen through basically December, the month of December, and parts of January. For example, like Hanukkah, we're celebrating Christmas, of course, Kwanzaa, the winter solstice, and the New Year, and everything in between.
Okay, that sounds very fun. So, do the costumes influence an act ever, or do the acts influence the costumes? Did I say that backwards like I was supposed to? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Well, I guess sometimes it's both. You have to definitely take into consideration each act as an individual act, what their needs are specifically, and then where they line up in the show. Those kinds of things affect what kind of costume they'll end up in.
And Miguel, do you ever get with Jared and go, oh, we have this great act, and this is how I see it? Or do you guys ever get into discussion that way, or do you just let him do all of that?
Well, it's nice that we share an office and we're right next to each other. So a lot of the times, he'll see an idea or see something that he likes, an application or something, and then he'll be like, hey, do you think that this would be good for this act? And, vice versa as well, too. I'll listen, I'll be looking for some inspiration with some tricks or stuff that, have a bit of the acrobatic element. And then we'll just share videos and just really just try to work together and at least, have that connection in terms of our inspirations and where we see the show going.
Yeah. So, Jared, you ever come up with an idea for a costume? And you'll take it to Miguel, and Miguel will say, we can't use this costume because it'll interfere with the actual performance of the act. Is that
sure, either with Miguel or when we go to the actual coach that's coaching the act, when we have those discussions, yes, we've been in a couple of situations before where, these pants aren't going to work, they need to be tighter to the leg because they'll get caught in a bike spoke or something to that effect. So, yeah, sometimes those kinds of things do come up and happen.
And I'll bet that, I had never thought about that before until just listening to you all talk about that. And I'll bet that's something that normal lay people don't really think about how those have to be considerations when you're putting
exactly.
something
You
together.
think about we put like elastic stirrups on the bottom of a lot of pants, or a stirrup through the shirt that actually holds the shirt in the pants.
Yeah.
So things like that, when kids are flipping upside down or pedaling a bicycle or anything like that, that those things don't get stuck and get in bad places.
Yeah. That's really funny. And then what about the music? Do you, I don't know if Miguel, if you're ever involved in the music, or Jared, if you're watching, or if the coaches who are actually coaching the act, if they have ideas for the music, how does that come about?
Same kind of thing. Let's talk about it with Miguel and talk about it with the coaches. and together we find a piece of music that is appropriate for the act and for the theme itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like in terms with the costume or with the music, sometimes it's just, the idea is there and stuff. So sometimes you try it the first time, but, for example, with the costume, and some modifications have to be made, if they are able to be made and stuff. And we just kind of work, together to, come into where, we can definitely make it work overall,
Yeah. And then, does the music ever influence the costume as well?
Sure. Yeah, I think it all has to come together at some point, to create that theme that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the act itself. The costume, the music, and the act itself all come together to create that one piece.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been here for Sailor Circus. Has it been 2 years?
2 years in October. Yeah.
Okay. So how has your coming up with ideas for the shows, and if they have actually, has it changed since you started here? Because originally, you have a very diverse theater background. This is your first real circus.
Yes, I'd say this is probably, the spring show would have been my fourth show producing with him, and so I consider this like my fifth.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've definitely learned a lot. Sorry.
I asked if anything had changed in the way you come up with a show.
Well, yes, I think having a better understanding of the acts and how they work, that when you were talking about the pants or those kinds of things, that, I have a better knowledge of how that works, so I can be more prepared, shall we say. So
do you have any memories of things that you had originally said, oh, I'm going to try to do this, and then everybody said you can't do that, and why? I mean, do you have anything like that you remember that happened to you when you were first
sure.
started?
Like sometimes like a skirt or a bustle on the back can impede on an act. And specifically, last year we were doing a unicycle act, and the bustled skirt that we created was just a little bit too long.
Yeah. And
when they would do it upside down, it would flip in the face. So we had to find an alternate way to make it have the same look, but change the length of those types of things.
So something like that happened. Did that happen far enough out where you had some time to change it and play with other ideas, or was that 2 weeks before the show and all of a sudden you had to change?
That has happened before, where it's pushed to shove, but this one in particular, we were up and up in advance and said, let's try it and see what's going to work.
Yeah.
Before we went ahead, and we're so close to the show that you're panicking there at the end. So, yeah.
That's good, because I don't know if I would have thought about it that far. So, can each of you share with us some of your favorite? Well, Miguel, you haven't been here that long. How long have you been here?
Well, I've been here permanently since late June.
So during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We've been flirting with Miguel for about a year and a half now. Having him around. So,
yeah, and you've seen some of the previous shows.
But
yes, I have seen some of the previous shows.
So, do you have any favorite acts or moments that you've seen that really inspired you to come work here?
Well, more than a specific act or moments, for me, I come from a traditional background, and for me, it's just really seeing, the students and stuff, and actually, as Jared has been mentioning, although I've been working here permanently just since June, just coming and just even now seeing the kids, how much they've progressed and how much they've grown, and and how they're becoming from little artists to now they're full circuit artists in their own right. And so obviously for me, growing up doing flying trapeze, that's something that I always still get sweaty palms watching and stuff. But I think more than anything, it's just really just them just performing and training and practicing and just being able to see them actually put it all together.
Yeah. And so Jared, do you have any favorite acts or memories from shows that you've been involved with?
I'd say I have a favorite act. I do always enjoy watching the cloud swing. I don't know, it's just a single performance, and I'm always so astounded by that act for some reason. I enjoy watching the solo girl on the cloud swing.
That's funny. Previously, I interviewed Darren Trull from Cirque du Soleil, who's been at the arena here sort of training and helping out, and I asked him what he'd been doing that might be new, and he said he had just tried the cloud swing for the first time. So I guess that's very popular right now, cloud swing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that don't necessarily know what cloud swing is. So, Miguel, would you like to give a quick little definition? Because when I gave it before, I think Darren was like, no, that's not exactly right. Not that he said that. He was very polite.
So a cloud swing is pretty much a really big, gigantic swing, but it doesn't have like a seat on it. It's just made of a web or a rope. So it's just really long, and so the best way that I can describe it is if you're kind of, if you're familiar with the web act, which is the act that the artists climb up and do figures on it. This one is the same, but it's shaped in a swing. So
it's like I considered it like a big swing made out of rope, like a big thick rope.
Yeah.
And there's no seat or anything. You're just, and then they go super, super high.
Well, see, now they're going to have to come over here and see it for yourself and see what the cloud swing looks like. But yeah, I that along with cloud swing rings and stuff, those are acts that are very traditional, and you don't see all that often now. And speaking with Darren, he was like, well, I've been in the circus for a while now, and I had not seen rings and cloud swing.
Wow.
So it was very interesting to hear him, kind of experience this for the first time after, not being, after being in a circus for a while.
Yeah.
So, very traditional acts that, we're happy to present.
Right.
If I can just add to that, I mean, I find myself so often awed by the strength and the tenacity and the training that it really takes to achieve any of the acts. It's pretty astounding, to know the work that goes into each act and what it really, really takes to produce something.
Right. I was out in the arena one afternoon watching the Sailor kids, and there was a girl doing cloud swing, and she hadn't been doing it very long, I guess. And the coaches were trying to get her to do a trick, and it took her a long, long time to feel comfortable enough to do what they were asking her to do. And I almost cried. It was so exciting when she did it. And I might have talked about this on a previous show. I can't remember. But now if I walk out there and she's training, it's like nothing for her, because now it's been quite a few months. So it is amazing. And I didn't realize that cloud swing was such a traditional act. I knew about rings, but...
that's what our boss did for many, many years.
Yeah.
Pedro was,
I know.
That was his act for many years.
There's video of him online. I've only seen a snippet of it, but I will at some point find that video and watch it.
I was telling Darren when he tried it, and I was like, well, Pedro used to do that, and he had a really good cloud swing and stuff, and now not a lot of, you don't see a lot of male performers doing it as you did back in the day and stuff. So, he was really keen on trying it again as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two acts are more of the traditional. Rings as well. Rings now they do have them in some of the other circuits.
Yeah.
For example, Cirque has a couple of rings acts, but they're not like the rings that we have here at Sailor Circus. These ones are more actually, the rings that are displayed in the other shows are men doing rings, so they're more like gymnastics rings. These ones are more artistic. These ones are more traditional. These ones are just a different different feeling than most of the ring acts that you see.
Now, if I can add to that as well, Roman Rings is also coached by our own Dolly Jacobs.
That's true.
Two very strong ladies on the Roman Ring with Dolly.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and it's worth it to come see them. They're amazing, and
Absolutely.
now his coaching is, they're being...
They are sugar plum fairies this year.
Oh, that's great. And now they're being, coached by a circus legend.
Absolutely.
So bonus.
That's the great thing about, I think now just really, for me, just seeing the tradition and all of this knowledge and just really, but now people, because I grew up being an artist for over 30 years, and people ask me what's my favorite part of coaching now, and just really giving that feeling that you are passing knowledge that was passed on, from my coaches and from my mentors, and and then just to see it not just from my personal experience, but